Welcome, everybody back to the AJGfishing Podcast, episode number 3. We're on a roll. We're still sticking with the audio only deal. It seemed like that was pretty well received. Like I said, I have a face for radio, and I'm starting to embrace that fact. So thank y'all for tuning in tonight, man. I've got a good show. I've got Vince Soliz as a guest. And that's going to come up a little later, my interview with Vince. I caught up with him via Skype. But look, until that happens, I kind of want to break down a bit more technical stuff than I guess what I've done for the last few podcasts. And I kind of want to talk about the end of the month. We're pretty much, into the last couple of weeks of the year. And this is when we have cold water, for our standards, right? So cold water in Louisiana is upper 40s, lower 50s. Cold water and high pressure that's going to set in. Man, you can go out this time of year and it's cloudy, it's windy, the water's still in the upper 50s, and they just flat out bite. A lot of times, though, that's going to change when those really blue skies come in. Still cold, but blue skies, no clouds, light wind. And that used to be probably... If I had to pick one condition that I was terrified to fish in, that was it. Not so much anymore. I really look forward to it now because what it does, it constricts the options. Okay, so whether we're talking about a one-day tournament, whether we're talking about a month-long, it doesn't matter. There are fewer ways to catch them, but you can still certainly catch a really, really big bag under those conditions. So I want to talk about how I approach that. The first thing I do, and look, this relates whether you're tidal, whether you're on one of the oxbows, whether you're on Toledo Bend or one of the reservoirs around Alexandria, northern Louisiana, it doesn't matter. One thing that I found really, and I know I'm bouncing around a bit here, but the reason I used to struggle under those conditions is kind of because I went by the book. Right, and I went by what the common approach was, or what people said you should do under those conditions, which is slow way down, go finesse, go deep, go all this stuff. And man, for me, maybe that works for some people. In our part of the country, the way our fishery is set up, the way our fish are, that is not what works. What I do, the first thing I'm going to think. Under those calm conditions and bright blue skies, the first thing that happens is fish suspend a lot more. They're normally not as tight to the bottom, but they are tight to cover. So my favorite thing to look for is a steep bank with hard cover, access to deep water really close by, and by close by I mean a cast away. The steeper the better on those post-front conditions. And I'm going to kind of search the water column, right? I know a topwater bite's probably going to go away. That's one thing that happens in high pressure, and I'm going to start off with a search lure of some kind. And a lot of this depends on clarity, y'all. My favorite is going to be a jerkbait, okay? Like I said, you have more fish suspended, and you can fish a jerkbait to match the mood that they're in. Some of those post-front days, I found them really aggressive. Some days, not so much, right? So you can change the cadence and change the retrieve of that jerkbait. If they're really, really like feeding, you can just do a slow, steady twitch, pause. And, it's funny. It's like the better they bite, the more basic your retrieve can be. When they're really biting, man, slow and steady will catch them, or just like a slow twitch and let it pause. If I think they're a little bit less aggressive, I'll make that retrieve more erratic. And one thing you do need clarity, of course, for a jerkbait. So if that front brought a lot of rain, try to get away from the dirtier water if possible. Fresh, muddy water typically is going to put them in a negative mood, right? So start off with a jerkbait. If that's not an option, if I have to fish the dirtier water, I'm going to go to a jig. That's something, it does kind of cover more of the water column than you think. Yeah, I'm going to fish it on the bottom, but you'll get a lot of bites on the fall too. And the rate of fall is super important, especially after a front. There's no hard, fast rule for it. So experiment with the trailer, experiment with jig weight until you could figure out a rate of fall that's going to trigger them, right? So steep banks, hard cover that'll hold heat because the sun will be beating down on it. And throughout the day, I'll kind of make a little rotation of the good spots. And it could be the third pass, it could be the fifth time you fish a certain stretch, but they will move up to feed on those really key kind of steep places. If you've got rocks or a seawall or anything that's concrete or hard cover that will hold heat, that is the juice. Don't just fish it once and then leave. Try a couple different things. Try jerk bait around it, suspended, near it. Try that jig too. Now the third thing I'm going to have tied on a post front day is going to be a rattle trap. Again, this isn't stuff that's by the book. This is just what has worked for me in the past. With the trap, you're kind of going to fish it in the same places that you would the jerk bait, but it's friendly around grass is why I like it. It's kind of a rattle trap is a good substitute for a chatterbait. Like if it were pre-front, I would probably go with a chatterbait. Post-front, go with a rattle trap around the same cover, shallow grass flats, or that hard cover that the sun's warming up. And look, a neat trick, I did a video on this a while back, but if you want to fish a rattle trap around brush, you can do it, okay? Upsize, I think it comes with a number 3 must add the triple grip hooks from right out the pack. Pull the back one off. Pull the split ring off. Don't have a hook on the back. Upsize that front hook a little bit and just fish it with one hook. And what that'll do, you'll get more of a nose down kind of retrieve, and it'll bounce through those limbs and through those brush piles a lot better, and you'll snag a lot less than you would if you had 2 hooks on it. So that's a cool hack for the Bill Lewis trap, and I'm sure it'll work on other lipless crankbaits. I throw a rattle trap more than any other brand, so that's what I'm familiar with on that little modification. Okay, y'all. So to summarize, post front bluebird days, I'm gonna have a jig, I'm gonna have a jerk bait, and I'm gonna have a rattle trap. If none of that works, then hey, I kind of throw out the book and experiment. It's not that finesse will never work here. I'm sure there's a time and a place for sure. But if you stick with those 3 basic things, the odds are you're gonna get fewer bites, but the bites that you get are going to be quality fish. So look, real quick, we've got Vince coming through on a Skype call. He doesn't. I know we're changing gears here. We went from really technical to just kind of a. This is going to be a fun conversation with Vince. He doesn't know. I didn't really give him a warning about what was going to go down with this. I just said, hey, I'm going to help you figure out a slogan for your bait company, 50 Shades of Bait, because every company needs a slogan, right? So look, I hope y'all enjoy the conversation with Vince. Hang with me just a moment, and Vince will be right with you. Are with Vince Soliz tonight. Y'all may know Vince from the Lake Charles Kayak Fishing Club. How you doing tonight, Vince?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Andy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Look, I'm sure a lot of guys that are from the club listening to the show know you, but I just want to introduce you as the guy who on Toledo Bend last March traded places with me in the championship. Right, so we had a 2-day championship on Toledo Bend. First day, I'm in first place with about 90 inches. Vince's, I hate to say it, Vince's last, right?
Dead last.
Second day.
Dead last.
Yeah, second day, it's a 2-day tournament. I'm not quite dead last, but Vince won the inaugural Band Bassin Championship on Toledo Bend. Good job on that, man. How in the world did you come from last place to first?
Man, I just went where they were biting. I didn't change my route. I didn't change locations. I just went back where they were biting. We pre-fished the night before and caught a few fish, so didn't catch as many the first day, but I got a limit like everybody else. And I just went back, and the weather conditions were really bad, and honestly, I think it was just lucky and nobody else found fish like I did.
Yeah, dude, that was a fun tournament though, dude. If I remember right, it rained the whole day of pre-fish and the whole first day, and we kind of got a break on that second day. And
Yeah.
I think you did what I think nobody else did, right? You stuck kind of with what you found that first day, and that's not what I did on day number 2. I was like, all right, day number 1 ain't gonna hold up. Yeah, there was a great bag, but I think I had 5 bites all of day 1. I mean, they were all big fish though. So I was like, I got to scramble and find something else, and I wound up with like 2 on the board for day number 2. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to rehash that, dude. Congratulations on being the first Band Bassin champion. And look, I don't know, he's kind of been down for a while, y'all, but Vince has a plastics company called 50 Shades of Bait that made some really, really killer stuff. The hurricane kind of put a damper on it. So Vince, when is your projected date to start, making baits again and get back in business?
Right now, I'm looking at late January, more like February. If I'm lucky, I can get late January, but hopefully February I should be up and running and start taking a few new molds and some custom orders and move on.
Nice. So did you get some molds made?
I bought a special mold from an individual that had it made. They're just generic molds that you can buy online and just getting started. It takes a little effort. Start off as a hobby.
Yeah. And dude, one thing I've noticed about your plastics when you were making them, and this is like a common thread that runs through the guys that fish a lot in South Louisiana, a lot of tidal fishing. I've noticed, dude, that tidal bass, for whatever reason, get a lot more keyed in on certain colors than others, and color matters more when you get south of Highway 90. When you get in that tidal water, it seems like color really matters more. And I don't know if that's just me, but like, take Daniel Sudan, for example. He kind of learned to fish in that tidal stuff, really particular about color. I know Josh Duffel is a spent a lot of time in that tidal stuff, really, really fine tunes the color. And me, I'm just kind of like, black, blue, orange, watermelon, whatever, but I fish
Whatever getting
not tidal water. Have you found that to be kind of like hold up, man, that tidal fish are pickier about color?
Sometimes, yeah, I have found it because I fish with the same guys and same baits, just different colors, and they're trying to catch. They're catching more fish than I am. I'm like, man, I'm throwing the same thing, just a different color, and there it is. You should have been throwing a June bug, or should have been throwing a black and blue.
That's crazy. And I don't know, dude. I've thought about it, and I think the forage base that they have in the marsh is so diverse, right? So there's shrimp, there's crabs, there's all different kinds of bait fish, right? So when you get up here, you've got gizzard shad, threadfin shad, and bluegill and crawfish. And that's about all they eat, in the oxbows or any of that, this, I call it northern stuff. It's not like we're in the north. But anyway, I've noticed with the line that you have some really, really good colors. So I just want to say shout out on that. And look, I want to do something. I'm not picking on you, but I'm going to have fun for a second here. So every company, and I've been working on my slogan for the guy businesses, Thrive Shallow, right? Every company needs a slogan, right? So it needs to be 50 Shades of Bait something. So I've got 7 different slogans that I've written down, okay? And I'm going to read them off to you. And after I read all 7, you're going to have to choose one. This is part of the fee for being on the show. You're going to have to choose one to be the official slogan for 50 Shades of Bait. So are you ready?
Yeah, man. Are they going to be good to go on air?
Yeah, they're all. It's all, PG-13.
PG-13, huh?
Okay, so here we go. Number 1, 50 Shades of Bait. Shackle your bass.
Ooh.
Okay. Number 2, 50 Shades of Bait. Catch a freak in any creek. I like that. Okay. Number 3, 50 Shades of Bait. Whip them into submission. Right? Number 4, 50 Shades of Bait. Dominate your lake. All right. Number 5, 50 Shades of Bait. we put the quiver in the river. Okay. Number 6, 50 Shades of Bait, make them bite like they like it. And the last, and possibly my favorite, 50 Shades of Bait, the Marsh Masochist. All right, Vince. Time to choose, buddy. You got to get one of those. What's it going to be?
Man, I'm gonna have to. I like the freak, man.
Okay. Catch a freak in any creek.
Freak, man. A freak in any creek, yeah.
All right. So
like
when you're
that.
back in business in February, on the bag, it's going to be 50 Shades of Bait, catch a freak in any creek.
All right, man. I'm gonna have to give the guy to put that on the logo.
Good deal. And look, I will charge you minimal royalties for the creative input on that.
All right. You come up with some good ones. There were some good ones. It was kind of hard to decide on a few of those. Like, ooh.
I got you. Yeah, just a little brainstorming session. You know, I was just trying to have fun with it. But in all seriousness, you make great plastics, dude. I can't wait for you to get back at it. When's the last time you got on the water?
What was the Lake Martin tournament? The second one?
Yeah.
It was the week after. I had shoulder surgery. Right before Election Day, the weekend before Election Day, me and my son went. I think we had a Sunday fun day that day, and I think about 4 or 5 of us were on Lake Martin.
I think everybody was on Lake Martin except me for that.
Well, I brought my son. He wanted to go bad. He's liking the bass fishing now for some reason. He caught every time we go, he struggles, and he caught 3 bass at Lake Martin, and now he thinks he's into bass fishing, YouTube.
Oh, he's Kevin Van Dam now, dude.
Yeah, oh yeah, man.
Yeah, they catch those first couple, man. There's no stopping him. That's awesome.
But
all right, Vince. Well, look, thanks for your time, man. I wish you all the success in the baits. They really are killer stuff. How can people find your baits online or in store when you start making them again?
Right now, it's just strictly through Facebook. I'm slowly going to work on a website to order directly, or they can even call me. Send me a message on Facebook, and then I'll send them my number, and we can talk about certain colors, molds. If they desire a certain type of mold, I can look at getting it.
Yeah. So you do custom orders for sure.
Yeah, I just, I try to get it right the first time. Sometimes they want a little lighter, a little darker than what they got in the store. So it's I try to get it what they want.
I got you, man. Well, look, Vince, again, thanks for your time, dude. I'm going to let you run. I know you're busy with the rebuild, with everything that happened with the storms. So appreciate you talking to us. All right. Sounds good. Thanks for the slogan, man. I'm going to look. I'm going to get that going. It's a winner, dude. It's going to help. All right, man. Have a good night. You too. Bye.
All right, everybody. That was, again, Vince Soliz. Vince, thank you so much for being on the show. I hope y'all enjoyed that interview. And that slogan's going to stick, dude. I think we came up with a good one for that. So y'all be sure to check out Vince's baits when he's up and running again. 50 Shades of Bait, catch a freak in any creek. How can you say no to that? You can't. You really cannot say no. So look, I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I kind of mixed in some of the boring technical stuff with that interview with Vince, trying to provide a little bit of balance. So want to be entertaining, right? Want to be informative. A little bit of that, probably leaning more to the entertaining side with the end of that interview with Vince. But again, thank y'all for your time. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Since I've started this is the 3rd week now, I've had several messages saying they enjoyed the show. So look, thank y'all so much. This stuff, it's fun to do. It's not always easy. So a little bit of positive feedback is definitely a cool thing to hear. And look forward to it every single week. Y'all have a great week on the water. I hope you catch some good fish. I'm going to be out on Tuesday. If anybody has any free time on Tuesday, let me know, and I'll give you the lowdown on where I'm going to be, man. Until next time, y'all take it easy.